dropped 80 this year, but in a few more games, don't worry, you'll catch me in footballs.
Who said that?
Sanders, to me.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Test, check.
Yep.
It's time for the Pittsburgh Sports Reporters, an inside look at your teams in your city.
Pittsburgh Sports Reporters for this Monday after Thanksgiving. It is the All 105.9 The X edition here on Pittsburgh Sports Hub. Mark Madden from the afternoon show, 3 until 6. Meet Tim Benz from the X morning show on 105.9 The X, Monday through Friday, 6 until 10. Mark has donned his Pittsburgh Penguins hockey shirt. We will get to the Penguins in just a moment.
Yes, Tim, very unprofessional. I also have a bad outbreak of rosacea, my winter allergy, but no one watches this, so I don't care.
You have winter allergies. That's
Yes.
weird. I didn't know allergies cropped up in the winter. What do you have?
My rosacea.
Will that keep you out, like, I don't know, 3 to 6 weeks, sort of like Marcus Gilbert? Old sick note.
No, Tim, I feel fine. Let's get this. Let's go ahead.
Right, okay, so let's get to the Tomlin two-step then. The suggestion, at least at this hour anyway, is that the NFL might be looking at finding the Steelers' draft picks as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars for Tomlin and the team. If it is deemed that Mike Tomlin did what he did on purpose in Baltimore, is that a justified punishment?
I think taking a draft pick away would be ludicrous.
Even if they did it, even if they realized that he did it on purpose, like if an NFL Mike picked up that he did it on purpose, not speculation, if they could nail it down that he did it on purpose.
Is that possible? Did an NFL Mike pick that up?
I don't know yet.
There's a KDKA TV version that shows an angle where it looks like it's intentional. That's what I've been told, where Tomlin drifts toward Jones as he approaches, and then, of course, we see him take one final step toward him, then pull back. Now, I don't know whether Tomlin did it on purpose. I would like to think not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, KDK has not played that clip, nor will they.
Sort of like the Roethlisberger middle finger with the helmet on the bike?
Exactly like that, Tim. But I don't see how you can judge he did it on purpose unless, like you said, an NFL Mike picked it up. I think $50K would be fine, but I do think he has to be punished, even if you don't know if it's intentional, because that could have affected the outcome of the game, and thusly could have affected the outcome of the season. The Baltimore Ravens could have missed the playoffs because of that. So he does need to be disciplined, whether it's intentional or not.
Yeah, my opinion is if they can't figure out emphatically if he did it or not, then there's no draft pick. But to your point, even if they can't figure out yes or no, did he do it on purpose, he should be fined, and there should be some sort of penalty. A draft pick, though, at that point would be too much.
Well, Tim, to me, the sad part is the Steelers, once again, are a circus act. Well, Emmanuel Sanders.
That juggling act is kind of like...
Emmanuel Sanders juggles the balls all the time.
Sanders?
You pick one.
Uh-huh. Well, Sanders on the back-to-back plays, the two-point conversion, which I don't get. If you're telling me, remember, this is the same team that didn't pull out a two-point conversion because they wanted to leave one in the bag a couple years ago, you remember. Are all their two-point conversions then just reliant on having the starting running back in there? And if they have to run 2 extra plays because Heath Miller is down at the 6-inch line, they're out of options. They have to go right back to the same play that they just scored a touchdown on, and their best option is a fade to a little wide receiver?
That said, he should have caught it.
Yeah, he probably should have.
No, not probably. He absolutely should have caught it.
And there's pass interference, and he should have caught it anyway.
Well, the bottom line is the Steelers are the most unlikable version of the Steelers ever. And Emmanuel Sanders is a microcosm thereof. He does his little Ray Lewis dance. Okay, Emmanuel Sanders is a number 3 wide receiver. And there he is on Ray Lewis's home field, mocking him by doing his dance, maybe the best linebacker of his generation. And he does it the first time in that stadium in 15 years when Ray Lewis couldn't come out the next series and knock his ass out. Okay, it was shameful. It was cowardly. It was just the worst kind of bojangling. It was just horrible.
Do you think that Carlton should knock out Le'Veon Bell again for imitating the Carlton dance?
Again, how do you like these Steelers? Somebody out there tell me. Somebody out there tell me how you like these Steelers.
I don't like them to go anything better than 7-9 or 8-8 at this point.
Now,
that's not going to be good enough.
To be fair, Hines Ward used to do that kind of stuff all the time. The dirty bird, that kind of stuff. But then you know what he would have done? Caught the 2-point pass and won the game. That's the difference.
Well, along the lines of what this means then now for the Steelers, they got some help yesterday. I don't think this eliminates them because the AFC is still so bad. They're still in it. It doesn't. I mean, roll your eyes, but they're a game behind, and that if the Ravens lose...
Tim, I'm about to cry like no Sean Marino.
that was pretty cool, by the way.
The bottom line, do we know why he cried yet?
He was emotionally wrapped up in the national anthem.
I thought
I
maybe,
guess they say he cries during practice.
I thought maybe he watched Liverpool lose to Hull City. I was crying. But, Tim, they're not going to win enough games. Who are they going to beat? It's a bad football
They're going to
team.
beat Miami. They're going to beat Cleveland. That's two more.
You sure they're going to beat Miami?
I
sure
think
about that?
I think they're going to beat Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're going to beat. I'm not sure.
I
no.
thought they're going to beat Minnesota and Tennessee and Oakland. They're not a good football team,
Well, neither's the rest of the AFC.
but they're not even as good as those teams.
I think that San Diego and Baltimore are better, and I think San Diego or Baltimore will wind up with the last wild card. I think the Steelers are going to artificially stay in this, even though they don't deserve
Here's
to.
going to be the worst part of it, the upshot. They're going to come just close enough where they don't think there's a problem.
Right.
They will convince themselves
Like
it was
last year.
breaks and bounces and injuries, and we don't have to change, and then they'll be even worse next year, and it will be glorious.
That's what happened last year at 8-8.
Well, you know what? People don't like me because I don't like them. But someone has to say the emperor has no clothes. These guys got no clothes. They're butt naked. They are fading and fading fast with a bunch of guys who can't play anymore, and they won't change, okay? This could be a real good team in 2 or 3 years if they would start making the proper changes now. But they always try to hang on, scratch out that playoff berth. Anything can happen when the playoffs start. It's ridiculous.
As for the Penguins, they had a good weekend. They won 3 times in 3 games since we were last on the air. What did you take away from their performances, A, against Toronto, and then the 2 games in Florida?
I wish every game was like the Toronto game.
That was fun.
That was so much fun.
And Gino looked good, too, I thought.
Yeah, you know what, though, Tim? I was blasting Gino when he didn't score for 15 straight games. And now I get all these tweets and these emails, these phone calls. People come up to me in the streets and say, don't you feel stupid now? No, I don't feel stupid. Because when you don't score for 15 straight games, you deserve to be criticized. And no matter how well he's playing now, it doesn't undo what he did, or didn't do, rather, then. He's the best player in hockey right now. He might go on a 15-game goalless streak in the near future. That's what makes Sid better. Gino has 17 points in these last 8 games. That's incredible. Sid also has 11. Even when it seems like Sid's a little down, he's getting more than a point per game.
Well, the last thing I wanted to bring up was, and I don't know how big of a college football fan you are, if at all, when it doesn't involve Pitt or Penn State, but I thought
I'm not even a fan when it involves them.
I thought the college football weekend this weekend was tremendous. I thought the Auburn-Alabama game was great. I thought the Michigan game against Ohio State was
Tim,
great.
I watched the end of Michigan-Ohio State and the end of Auburn-Alabama, and that leads me to one inescapable conclusion. College football should just play 5-minute games.
I like that idea.
That's
actually.
like the NBA. Like the NBA. You know how a good NBA game's decided in the last
Right.
3 minutes? Just play 3-minute games.
Well, the one thing I want to throw at you from those games is that apparently there are some SEC fans that are mad at Brady Hoke for going for 2 because...
It's none of their business.
It's none of their business. That's what I think. Because if he had gone to overtime and maybe won the game, then it's a clearer path for whoever wins the SEC championship. But the last thing on his friggin' mind should be what goes on in the SEC game.
It should not matter
Take
even
out your
one little
rival's
bit.
chance to win a national championship. I was completely in favor of him going for 2 in that situation.
Well, no, absolutely. And I believe the underdog in a situation like that should go for 2 at the end every time, because the longer the game drags out and you get into overtime, the more likely it is the better team is going to win. I thought Auburn should have gone for 2 at the end of their game.
Now, what they probably should have done in the Michigan game is throw a fade to a short wide receiver on a back-to-back play in the corner of the end zone.
Tim, here's what I hear. I hear, A.J. McCarron's girlfriend, Catherine
Yeah,
Webb,
yeah.
Auburn graduate, right?
Yeah.
I heard she got her boyfriend to lose to Auburn because, honey, they haven't won in a long time against you, and I went to school there, and I have a lot of friends there, and, hey, I'd sell out for her. No problem.
That's Pittsburgh Sports Reporters on Pittsburgh
It's
Sports
over
Hub.
already.
It's over. Do you want to talk some more?
No.
Be back next week, 10:30 on Monday, here on Pittsburgh Sports Hub.